The views and opinions of the following show do not reflect those of WSMN, its owners, and/or associates.
Lisa and Robin are two fun friends diving deep into conversations where nothing is taboo. They believe in eating dessert before dinner and wearing the bikini. They're allergic to labels, authority, and cheap shoes. Currently, they're launching themselves through life being the good time, bold enough to take risks and inquisitively asking, what's next? They hail from New Hampshire, but they could be anywhere dressed in cute clothes. If they had to share a tombstone, it would read, "Curiosity killed these cats." Your hosts, Lisa and Robin on the mic.
Welcome, welcome. Welcome to Lisa and Robin on the mic. You are listening on WSMN 1590 AM, 95.3 FM. You can watch, stream, and listen on WSMN.live as well as YouTube. And we're always up on Spotify and any place you find your podcasts.
Yes.
Welcome to another rainy Thursday.
Happy Thursday. Yeah, I'm tired of the rain. Like, come on. We're in the good season now. We're in pool season. Let's go. We're in sundresses, sandals, bathing suits. Let's go. I'm tired of wearing jeans. I'm like, I really want to put a dress on, but it's like, yucky.
No, it's not dress weather.
No. No.
And it was really funny. I have you ever, like, do you believe in love at first sight?
Yes.
Okay.
I do.
And I think everyone always views that in a romantic type of environment. But I actually have friends, you're one of them, where it's like it's instantaneous.
Yes.
Almost like a knowing.
Yes.
And there's a girl, we had trauma work together in like 2011, 2012. And we bonded. And then she moved away. And I didn't know, but she moved back, and I bumped into her yesterday.
Oh,
so
my
suddenly.
goodness.
And when we saw each other, we were like stamping our feet and like couldn't run to each other fast enough. And I'm like, oh my God, you're visiting? And she said, no, I moved back. And I said, oh my God, how has it been? And she's like, made this face and looked out the window like towards the doors. I'm like, I know.
Welcome
Don't kill
to New
yourself.
England.
It's going to be better. And she's like, I can't.
Did
It's like
she
this
move
weather.
from somewhere sunny?
She moved to Colorado, and they apparently have
yeah.
a ton of sunshine.
Yes, they
You
do.
think of winter and all kinds of, but they have sunshine while they have this other weather.
Yes.
And so it was so good to see her. But I'm always reminding my friends, don't kill yourself. It's just, this is going to get better. Like, I remind everyone else, but in the middle of the day, I'm like, what is my problem? And then it's like, well, because it's crappy out and you haven't seen the sun in 7 days. Don't worry. It's going to be, it's going to be better. I'm going to break out. I have one of those Canadian UV lights that's supposed to help you with your circadian rhythm in the winter, but I
yes.
put it away because it's not the winter. And now I'm going to be apparently I'm bringing that back out.
We should do like just house lighting like that.
Yes.
Should do all of it, when you're inside. Your whole house should be that.
And that's why when they went with that LED light and it was blue,
Yes.
and it kind of looked like alien ships were landing and like shooting out the funnel from the bottom of the alien ship. It's like, what kind of light is this? We need warm light. What are you people doing at the light factory?
That's a cold light too.
It's a cold light. We don't need that.
I don't even like the white lights. I don't have any.
I don't like
'cause I think-
fluorescent lighting. I'm allergic to fluorescent lighting.
Yes.
I actually get mold spots on me in the fluorescent lighting, which is why I can't work in an office. That's what I tell everyone. I can't work in an office. I got lighting problems.
I'm allergic to the fluorescent lights.
I'm
Can't do
allergic.
that. It's true. It's true. I think that because I do think that you're drawn to people because of their energy. I think that's what love at first sight is. What, like with Chris and I, there was an attraction. There was an attraction. It was a connection. Like,
It's that unnameable.
it's people do make you feel a certain way. You're drawn to their energy. You're drawn to how somebody makes you feel. That's how I think.
Yeah. And I think those instantaneous friendships or that instantaneousness is almost feeling seen and seeing somebody and recognize. There's some form of recognition. And that's that weird recognition is almost like why I could believe in reincarnation.
Yeah.
Like I know you.
Yes.
That
yes.
feeling when you don't. You're just meeting this person or whatever. But like I said, it was so good to see her. And then, right away I'm talking her off the ledge. No, I know you just moved back. Well, how long have you been back? Oh my God, it's terrible. You've had the worst. Like, no. It's going to be better. We'll get lunch. It'll be better.
No, it stopped raining the other day. And I'm like, well, we haven't even golfed this week at all.
You must be going through withdrawals.
Yes.
Your arms are just trying to swing at anything in the house. Your broom putting.
It's like, what am I going to do? What do I do all day? But I did buy, I bought more flowers. So I'm good.
Yeah, that made that feel better.
I have 3 flats of periwinkle that I'm going to put along one of the fences. I'm so tired of weeding it. And it's done really well on one side. So I'm like, if I got 3 flats of it and just let it continue to just spread, and then that whole, because we don't put anything in there anyway.
Petunias are an excellent spreading plant. They have like 2 stems at the beginning of the season, and they're 2 feet wide.
Yes.
By the end of the season.
But I want it to be year round.
Okay.
Okay. Just doing that fence in the backyard, just along that edge, just all periwinkle, because it just give it some greenery. The weeds won't, overtake it, because I'm done with weeds and mulching.
All right. What's the difference between a weed and a flower?
I don't know.
Judgment.
Oh, true.
That came from my little, what are those little, not fortune cookies. It goes in your tea. At the end of the tea bag, it has like a saying.
Oh, yes.
And I really love that, because when I'm weeding, I'm like, oh, this looks like that plant over there. Oh my goodness. It made its way all the way over here. And pull it. I'm like, what do you mean pull it? It's a real plant. We paid $70 for it to be over there, but it doesn't belong there.
Yes.
It is a weed if it's a plant in a space it's not supposed to be. But dandelions, like we normally we go to Montreal on Memorial Day weekend, and it rains, because Memorial Day weekend rains.
Yeah.
So this year I'm like, let's just do another week, because I love Montreal.
Yeah.
But they let the weeds grow, and it doesn't look inhospitable. It doesn't look like this place is just overrun. But they have dandelions in their weeds and in their grass, and other things. But they also have beautiful planted areas. And I just think Montreal is one of the most beautiful cities.
Yes.
Architecturally,
Yes.
and it's old, and it's got lots of granite and stone.
Yeah.
I love the feel
Yeah.
of that location. So that's one of my favorite cities.
It's like a little mini Europe.
Exactly.
Yeah, it is.
And then they speak another language,
Yes.
which is a language I love to listen to. And I'm like, I have no idea what they're saying, but it sounds beautiful. And they're telling you, like, stop. I got yelled at on the train once. So I didn't like that French. When I got yelled at, then my arm was on the back of the chair. And he was like smashing the back of the chair, like I was like in his space and everything. And I was like,
Are
I
you
don't like
having a
that
temper
French.
tantrum
Yeah,
about
he had
it?
a wicked temper
I
tantrum.
would just call him out on
Yeah,
it. Like,
but he wasn't speaking my language. I wasn't speaking his. We were just having a thing. But I do. I love like a little tiny piece of Europe.
I even do it. When people are on the plane and there's like, kids are behind you and they're pushing on your seat and your seat's like bouncing back and forth, and like, I'll lean back even harder.
Mm-hmm.
Chris is like, you are a grown adult. I'm like, well, I don't care.
I'm asserting myself.
He's sitting beside 2 grown adults that are doing nothing.
Well, I think, and this is really something that has changed in our lifetime. Children travel everywhere all the time. Sebastian Maniscalco actually does a comedy skit on it.
Yeah.
Like, a kid with a placenta doesn't need to be on a plane. Like, there's a certain amount of time you're going to have to vacation at a different time, right? But, now that people get mad that there's hotel pools where there are no children allowed, and people with children are like,
What
really
am I going to do with my kid all day?
And it's like, well, you could go to the kid pool where all the diaper feces is, because you
Yes.
put your kid with diaper and feces in that pool, and we don't want to swim in it.
Right. Even though, when you have a swim up bar, like you watch these people sit at the bar, at the swim up bar
And
all
you're like,
day.
are you
and you're like,
peeing? Are you peeing in the pool?
that's where I would put my money. Like, there's no way.
Yeah.
They're like,
biologically.
you got a little buzz and you're like,
Am I going to get out of the water?
nah.
Gross.
It's heavily chlorinated.
Yeah. We don't want to swim in your toilet. Don't pee in our pool.
And like they have like thinking like, the 6 other guys that are sitting beside them that they're not being in the pool.
Right.
And I was like, yeah, no
Right.
thanks.
Right. Right. That's why when I smell the smell of chlorine, I'm happy.
Yes.
I chlorinate that. Bleach that out. But I do think it's really funny because someone said, "Oh, they closed the pool," and I'm like, "Yeah, a log went floating by from some kid's diaper. It made its way out of the diaper and into the."
No, thank you. No, thank you. Now, and I also hate going to resorts. I hate going to resorts. Then you have to get up at 5:00 in the morning to get your towel on a chair. And what's funny, we were in, I think we were in Mexico, and these people, and it's afternoon, and we were over at the adult pool. It's quieter over there. And these 4 people had picked up their stuff, left their towels. Well, then somebody came back, like they were there for an hour. And I said to Chris, do you want to grab those chairs? And he's like, they're taken. So one of the staff had come through and cleaned up all the towels. So it probably sat for a good 30 minutes without any towel on it. So we're like, let's, we'll dry off. We'll get out, dry off, and then we'll go get some lunch. They came back literally as we were putting our stuff down. And they're like, you took our seats. And I'm like, nope, these were empty. The staff cleaned up the towels and just made a big deal about it. And Chris is like, hey, just chill out. It's no big deal,
Mm-hmm.
And the guy continued for the next 10 minutes, even after we moved, like, still I tried to make a deal about it. Like, dude, what are we in high school?
Right.
I'm like, I don't want to stay in places like that. If you don't have enough chairs by the pool or have enough pools to accommodate all your hotel rooms, then just.
I think it's funny because in Aruba, they do that. There's a million chairs, but they're not the first row that's directly in front of the water.
Right.
And those are the ones that it says do not put towels before 7 a.m. And I've gone down at 6:50 to wait to throw towels, and all of them are taken.
Yeah.
And it's like, how is this even possible? I thought we were all here at 6:59,
Right.
claiming like musical chairs. We're all claiming our chair, and I got into it with someone, and then. I wanted to make a placard that said, if you touch my stuff, I'm going to break your arm.
Oh,
Not the workers, but like people who
Yes.
just come and like fling stuff. It's like, but I am guilty of being the person who has a spot.
What you just need to do is reserve for VIP. But see, the thing is, I'm on vacation. I don't want to get up at 6:50 and go stand in line. Do you remember when we were little? Like, I remember when Cabbage Patch dolls, like right around Christmas, parents and stuff would stand in line waiting for the store to open because they only had a limited amount. And I feel like as an adult, I'm on vacation. I refuse to do that. I refuse to participate in that. I'll just go
Nonsense.
get one from the back and I will move it in front of you.
Right. And I do think that's like false scarcity. That
Yes.
kind of like, we know Christmas is coming. We
Right.
aren't possibly going to make the right amount of toys.
Right.
Now we're going to jack up the price so that people are bartering them off
Marketing.
at $400.
Yes, and people would spend the night standing in line to make sure they do it. And I'm like, I don't want to be that kind of person. I don't. I'm not on vacation. And so I'm like, well, that's why we do Airbnbs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or you go to an adults only, and they, some of the resorts that we've been to, they have like 3 pools.
Yeah,
So-
JW Marriott's like that in Marco Island. They have an adult-only pool.
Yeah.
And I know people get bent out of shape, and it's like, but you guys, and another thing I think, it's 2025. We don't need to play Marco Polo.
Right.
We don't. Nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to hear that. And the other thing we don't need to do is, and I know everyone's having fun.
Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, everyone's having fun. If you want to throw a ball, go to the beach
Yes.
and throw it on the sand or in the ocean. Stop banging me off the back of the head with a Nerf ball that you can't catch a throw because you're drunk. This isn't the place for that. There are certain things you do in the pool, and there are certain things that you don't do in a pool.
Yes.
When you have a crowded, March vacation pool
Yes.
that has
Yes.
7,000 people in it. When there's only 3 of you, and now you have one person off on the side, play your little ball.
Yes.
But there's a time and a place for everything, people.
You guys do that at the deep end.
Do that over there. Do that on the beach.
Let them tread water for like 2 minutes, and they'll be tired, and they're like, this is not fun.
Yeah. And I know that sounds like it's anti-fun, but it's not fun for everybody.
Right.
I'm about like everyone have their good time. We don't all have to have the same good time. But if you want to whip around a ball inside a pool with 400 people, it's not
Take it over there.
Yeah, that's 398 people possibly getting beamed off the head or now having to pay attention to your stupid game.
Yes. Or go to the kiddie pool. Go to the kiddie pool.
Beach. Go to the beach.
We're
You can run around
adults.
like adults. Goodness gracious. Play Frisbee over there. What are you playing Frisbee in here? It's not your private,
Or even when you're on the beach and people come by and they're playing, they decide to play,
on top of you.
They play right in front of where you are. So they're always kicking sand at you and like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Well, I did that for the first 20 times. Now I want you to get out of my space.
I was talking to a client, and he is selling a property in Florida, so he can come up here. And we were talking about, I said, yeah, my place is kind of just below Clearwater. And he said, I went to Clearwater Beach. There were way too many people there. He goes, I brought my family down, and then I went to go back up to the room to get something, and I came back, and I couldn't find my family because a group of people had like hoarded around them, and like I lost my family. Like I know I put them here, but I couldn't find their little
No,
heads.
I left them right there.
And I said, I know that's the difference between when I first started going to Clearwater. It was 6 million people descended on that beach in a year, and now it's 16.
Wow.
It is it's been voted the second best beach in the country for 30 years.
Clearwater is a great
great.
beach. But if you go to the right, if you go down past, what's the cafe, Sky?
Yes, if you go by Clear Sky and also Palm Pavilion, if you start going to the right of that,
Yes.
completely different beach. And that's where we usually stay at the
Yeah.
Airbnb.
That's
so that we don't have
that's
that
a nice
kind of
place. Some nice houses down there too.
Yeah, very, very nice houses.
Love those. But even along that whole strip is really nice.
Mhm.
I mean, all the way down to John's Pass.
Oh, you're talking south.
Well, like Clearwater all the way down. That's a nice stretch of beach.
Oh,
like,
all those beaches are beautiful.
yes,
The only thing that's different about Clearwater is they rake it,
yes.
which makes it literally have no.
And there's a lot of beach from
Yeah.
the road to the
Yes.
water.
Great
There's a lot
sand.
of sand. Yeah.
So Indian Shores Beach, which we're in behind Indian Shores Beach, they don't rake it because they let the turtles nest and all of
Yeah.
that stuff. So they're not raking off that natural seagrass and all that stuff.
Right.
So that's the difference between the two.
But still not bad.
It's the same beach. It's
Yeah.
just it's not raked.
Right.
So I wanted to know, do you think, or what do you think of the word seduction? Do you only think of seduction in terms of sexuality?
No.
Okay, I don't either.
I think we're always trying to seduce.
Or be
Yeah.
someone's trying to seduce us.
Yes.
So I do too, and I think it is a marketing ploy, and the seduction of things or people or places or ideas. The phone is seductive. You can't not touch the phone. It's a very tactile thing.
I think about seduction as something that's drawing you in.
Yes, luring you.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So you think about
Chris
it the
was
same
trying
way I
to
do.
seduce me last night by getting the hot tub going.
Did it work?
Because we
Did
had
he
so
win?
much rain, and over the winter, like we had this tiny little hole in the cover, and we had emptied it to refill it. But then when he went to empty the hot tub and pull the cover off, all the water had gotten in the lid, so it snapped the bar. Anyway, so yesterday we were getting that up and running again. And it is cold, and I'm standing there like, we need to get in now because it's cold. It's rainy. It's like 5:00, and it's like, this feels like winter. I had to turn the heat back on in the house.
We did. We had the heat on in the house too. It's only 47 degrees this morning.
We have it on in the kitchen on that side of the house, so I don't have it in the dining room. So the dining room, our office, so you feel like this cold space. And he's like, oh, I'm like, but we don't stay in here. Just go.
Yeah, close that door.
Just go that way. Go that way.
So I was looking up, and the reason why I thought of it, have you heard of John Robert? It's Robert Greene.
Robert Greene.
Greene. He writes these massive tomes of a book. One of them's called Mastery.
Oh, no.
One is The Art of Human Nature, and one of them is Seduction. And he talks about the type of seduction. And obviously they're not sexual. They're not all
Right.
sexual. It's all like marketing technique and all of these things to lure you to do what we want you to do, to capture your senses, to make you do what we
Entice.
want to do, to entice, to
Yes.
lure. That's
Yeah.
like another good word. And so he was talking about the types of seduction. And what I thought was really interesting, and I kind of thought about the iPhone, was he said there is, because he was talking about names of types of seduction in people. So there's the siren, which is the woman who men just like lose their mind over. She is just and that's like a sexual seduction. And then he had different names for one. And then he said there's one, and I forget the name of it, but he said it's like a blank slate. Actors are this way. They put on a blank slate so that there's nothing really embodying them, so that you project what you want on them. So they're not what they are, they're what you want. And I thought, isn't that kind of the iPhone?
But isn't that kind of
smartphones?
But isn't that kind of what we do in some ways? Not being a blank slate, but when we try to show up. I think we try to show up in the way that we think people want us to show up for a long time. Do you know what I mean?
I do. And I think that's kind of like there's a time and a place for everything. Well, when you show up in a professional environment, you're acting professionally. When you're showing up in a family environment, you might be showing up as your nurturing self. You know, when you're in this environment, you might be showing up as the different version of yourself.
Well, it's one of the things that I loved about your cookout on Saturday is just watching all these people just be so real and lively. Like there's no pretentious. There's no, like a lot of times you get together with family and it's like, oh, everybody kind of, you know, everybody kind of corners off to do. Like that's just natural. Like we don't want to go outside, or I want to go outside. I want to do this, but everybody's just kind of free to do their own thing. Like everybody can just show up and be themselves. And that's what I love. And that's what was great about, like, that was my takeaway from visiting you guys. And I'm like, man, just everybody's real. Everybody is just having a good time. Like, you're not trying to, you know, nobody's talking behind your back. Like, that's what you always think about when you get together with family, or you get together in large crowds and friends and things like that.
We don't have that particular family around because it's too much. It's the too much whispering in the corner or whatever. And that is not this family that was there.
Yes.
And the other family, when I do things with, you know, the other family, there's we're so excited to be together. We're so excited to make memories. We're so excited to have this time and to do this thing.
Enjoy each other's company. There's no
obligation.
Yes.
And I think, so I will say this is the very first party which I did not cook the food.
I love it.
And I was so panicked internally. I was holding my breath until everyone ate. I didn't realize I was doing it until someone said, "Are you having fun?" And in my head, I was like, "No, I'm not breathing." And then I was like, "Why aren't I breathing?" I'm like, "There's enough food." That was my panic. I had never catered something before, and now I'm catering something with 30 people. Did I get the right amount for 30 people? Are we going to run out of anything? As it is, we were really tight on mac and cheese. We did barbecue, and like people were scraping up the last of the mac and cheese. I was like, man, we need more mac and cheese. It's good mac and cheese too, though.
It was good mac and cheese.
So next time we'll do 5 mac and cheeses instead of 3. But other than that, the amount was perfect. But I didn't realize until I was in it how much anxiety. And then I thought, well, this was the anxiety that existed in me the very first time I started throwing events or having parties, was I didn't want anyone to be hungry. Because I've been to those parties where you're like, are we going to eat something? I'm like, oh, I didn't realize I should have eaten before I came to this party. It was between, you know, it was at dinner time or it was at lunchtime.
Yes.
And we went to this one party and it was a child's birthday party at 1:00. So we're thinking, there will be food there.
Yes.
Beyond chips.
Yes.
Or crackers and cheese. And I think this is an Italian gene I have that, like, get more food. I just have that Italian grandmother in me that's constantly like, give them something to eat. They're not hungry. Give them something to eat anyways.
Just feed them.
Feed them. I think they're hungry.
Yes.
They're not exploding.
Yes.
I want their belt unbuckled.
I still do it because I'm like, I need to know who's coming for dinner because I want to make sure that everybody has
enough. Food.
Yes.
Yeah.
And feeling like that they can't take, you know, oh, I really want this, or I want it, you know, you look down at the pan and you're like, oh, all right, well, maybe I'll just have this, or I'll have a little bit. No, I want people to be fed and full and happy.
Yes. And give people food to take home. Like, put that into go. We buy these giant Costco BJ size to go containers so we can give people food to go home. And I remember being at that party and walking in, and like 3 different people walked up to me, were like, there's nothing to eat here. And I'm like,
boy.
what? It's 1:00 party.
DoorDash.
Like, well, we're gonna have cake, right? But we're gonna have nothing but cake. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, we were trying just going
Balance
through
that
the
sugar.
thing,
Yes.
and we were laughing because we were like, "How do you invite this many people over at
But
1
how do
o'clock?"
you see that? It doesn't even make sense to me. How do you ever have a party and not have any food?
I know. So
That doesn't even make sense.
So I have had those experiences, and I think somewhere in there, that's where, or it's, we love to blame the parents a clock. So it's some kind of childhood trauma in which you go over someone's house and their food is terrible and you won't eat because you're
Yes.
a picky eater and you're like, I'm not going to have anything to eat here. There's some kind of trauma in there. And we totally want to blame our childhoods for everything.
Well, see,
so
I would
blame
be a
that.
picky eater. So, I mean, I am a picky eater. I'm a lot better now. And a lot of times I just say, no, thank you. Or I'm not really that hungry. Because I usually will, if I know that there's something there that I'm not going to eat, then I will eat before. Because I've been there like, oh my God, I'm starving. And I know.
Oh, and there's drinking now, and now I'm drinking on an empty stomach.
Yes.
I'm going to be inebriated at this
I'm
party.
going to
in
be a
10
hot
minutes.
mess if you don't get some good food in me.
Carbs and eat carbs.
Yes.
Give me a sausage sub from someplace.
So my mom used to, when I was a kid and I was very picky. And she's like, you will sit at that table and you will finish your meal. And I'm like, okay. I think we talked about this before. And I would not eat it. And she would, they would both get upset with me for not eating it. But I'm like, I know I will gag. I don't like it. I do not. It's not that I'm trying to be disrespectful. It's not. I will have a visceral reaction to it. And so she's like, fine, just give in. But I didn't mean it to be a power struggle. It was just, I think I knew me way back then. And I didn't have the words to,
Yeah. And we're both very sensory texture people. So when my nephew, who only ate strawberries, like you had to have fresh strawberries on hand every day, and he would eat nothing but strawberries. And then I remember one day he was like, I don't like strawberries. And in my head, I wanted to lose my mind on him. Like, of course you like they're the only things you eat is strawberries. But then in my head, I just went, well, wait a second. And I picked up the strawberry and I was like, oh, these are those flabby strawberries. So he just doesn't have the articulation to say these strawberries are bad.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, yeah, I get it. I'm not going to make you eat these strawberries. And then the next hour, can I have strawberries?
Yeah.
But if you listen to him directly, I don't like strawberries. What are you talking about? You don't like strawberries. I'll strangle you.
Either that or you just got so sick of eating them that you don't ever want to eat it again.
And that's every child. The minute you stock up on whatever they eat, they no longer eat it. Cats are the same way.
Yes.
Like, oh, that was my favorite food until you bought the BJ size.
I know.
No, my favorite food anymore. I don't like it.
Milo, he used to eat like little black beans when I would make tacos and stuff. He liked little pieces of green bean. They liked little pieces of chicken. And now they come over, they want to smell it. And, their little nose is like a little bunny. It's just sniffing. And then they just,
No, thank you.
just turn around and walk away. And then, like, even their wet cat food, he will not eat the chicken or the turkey. Like,
Funny.
he cries and cries and cries. I'm like, all right, I'll give in. And then he just sniffs it and walks away.
Fresh. Very, very fresh. Those cats. Spoiled.
Yes.
Spoiled. Speaking of reincarnation, I'm coming back as my cat.
Stella's like,
Find Lisa and find her cat. Put me in front of her. I'll be right there. I'm going to lie on 10 beds. I'm going to lie on all the furniture. Scratch everything.
Oh, my God. Cats are funny. They're something.
Our little
They
family.
definitely seduce you.
Definitely. I think for seduction, I think if I thought of everything as seduction, I'm trying to work yesterday and all of these little pop-up ads for game, PC game, something. Do you want the whatever game? Do you want the natural defender
don't.
game? And I'm like, there used to be a time I didn't need to, when I wanted something, I went out and got it.
Yes.
Or I searched for it. And now life is a constant bombardment of weeding out everything I don't want all of the time. And it's exhausting. And I think they just do it for willpower purposes. You said no before 10 a.m. 256 times. We're getting you. You're buying that today. You're going to say yes because you clicked on the wrong thing.
You wore me down.
And I do. I think there's a real thing called decision fatigue. So there's why those really smart techie people only wear their khaki shorts with their Metallica t-shirt every day, day in and day out, because they can't mentally decide on wearing different clothing.
Yes.
And to me, the thought of that's
I
the
get
uniform.
Because there's sometimes like, well, today, here's my mental fatigue outfit. And I already knew I was in it. Listen, I'm like, you just gave me the word. And I hope you're listening, because I said to him, hey, I want you to tell me what you want for dinner tonight. I'll make whatever you want, but I don't want to come up with it. And I also want you to take me out to eat. We haven't been out to dinner in a long time. And he's like, oh, okay. Is that your way of saying you want to go out to eat? I'm like, no, I want both.
Right.
Of course. But I was just like, a decision fatigue. I don't feel like it's so glum. Like, I don't feel like cooking. I don't feel like putting anything together.
That's also decision fatigue of having to come up with new and interesting things, not only to physically cook it, but to shop it and source it and come up with the idea. And back in the day, my parents didn't do that. Well, first of all, my mother was smart enough to realize she was going to run a business, and she wasn't going to run a business and a house at the same time. So my mother was smart enough to outsource all our laundry. So everyone used to make fun of me because my jeans used to be pressed at the dry cleaners, and they used to have this demarcation of a line from that pressing, that they do at the dry cleaners. And she outsourced food.
Yeah.
Because she was like, I'm working. When am I
So
going
did she have somebody come in and cook for you guys?
No, we used to eat out every day.
Oh, nice.
Which, when you look at it, we were perpetually on a diet. This is the insanity. Okay, the insanity. We could only have 1,200 calories a day because we were always on a diet. Oh, but we ate McDonald's, which was one McDonald's meal was over 1,200. You had to have a Diet Coke or it wasn't.
Yeah.
And so now what am I eating for the rest of the day? I'd have a grapefruit.
Have that Big Mac with no cheese.
It's not even this was the bizarre, or we'd have a steak and cheese sub that we'd split.
Yeah.
So we ate the unhealthiest food, and then the rest of the time we starved ourselves because we could only allot 1,200 calories. So when people talk to me about calorie restriction now, I want to strangle them until they pass out, but not they die. Because then when they come back to life and go, what happened? You were talking to me about calorie restriction.
I don't know what happened. I was just talking to you.
I don't know.
And you fell over.
I don't know who you think you are. You don't know the first thing about me. My entire life was starving myself. Right. Not because we were poor, but because we ate poorly and then tried to fit this other thing into it. And that's what a lot of people, if you only concern yourself with calories, you are going to eat unhealthy, because an apple and a donut almost have the same amount of calories.
Yeah.
And you're like, do I want an apple or do I want a donut? I want a donut.
A jelly-filled donut.
So that's part of the whole cycle, almost like of abuse that you start to do to yourself.
And some people are live to eat, and some people eat to live. I eat to live. Well, I live to eat. And when you are, I think your mom was, I'll have to eat to live. But I want to look this way.
She was also caffeinated and smoked nicotine. Yeah. So she could do starvation, and she wasn't a growing child.
True. But
I was literally trying to play sports.
Did you watch that movie with Vince Vaughn? Noni's?
Not yet.
Nona's?
Not yet.
Oh my gosh. It is so good. It's so good. But and
my mother wasn't unusual in that, our entire street dieted. We passed around a calorie book so we could memorize the calorie count of food.
But I think that was our time too, because my mom was always on Weight Watchers. Like everybody you knew, every adult I knew was on Weight Watchers, always on some kind of a diet.
And that's part of the seduction thing. So I think there's seduction of giving you what you want. There's that kind of seduction. Like, you just want this.
See, Timmy, I think about seduction, and it feels like a song to me. Like, it makes you want to move. Like, I do. I want you to whisper, and I want you to dance with me. And I think because life is about dancing. In our relationships, about how you communicate, the energy that you put out, how you move through the world,
But I think of, the diet. So we have more information about health and nutrition in 2025 than we've ever had on the planet. We have more obese people in this country than ever existed. And the diet industry is a $1 billion industry. Mm-hmm. So it's not lack of information that's making us unhealthy.
We should come up with our own diet.
Oh, totally, and sell it.
Be billionaires.
Right. I don't even need a billion.
I don't
even
either.
need a billion. I just give away 900 million. I don't need a billion. I don't. I would find good uses for it if I got it, though.
Yes.
I would find the Kill and Bear Center would want for nothing for the next 100 years.
Yes.
All humane societies would want for nothing. Make-A-Wish Foundation would want for nothing. Like, I would spend it. But back to the seduction piece, it's like there's the seduction of you're not good enough and you need to make yourself better. I think that's also a type of seduction that's almost like built out of fear. Like, you could have what you wanted if you just tried harder. If you could have all your dreams in my pretty little package product. Just take these 3 pills a day. You'll have the legs of your dreams. Like, that's the new one that is coming up on my Instagram.
I think seduction is probably the biggest form of marketing.
Yes, I think so.
Commercials, look, thinking about fast food restaurants and the timing of the commercials that they come on. They come on at certain hours. Later at night, there's more food commercials mixed in, sprinkled in with, erectile dysfunction, cirrhosis and, psoriasis. What's the other one? Incontinent. Like, I don't know. There's all these, half the time you don't even know what these pharmaceutical ads are for.
Right.
And, they read, like, wow, hats off to those people who read the small print really quickly, and you're like, blah, 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 and, you could die of a heart attack.
Put it on 2.5. They record it and then just play it at 2.5. I don't think anyone's speaking that fast. I don't think so.
But timing of it, and you watch, I think it was Hulu that we were watching, and we were watching something early in the day, like early evening, but watch it like after 10 o'clock, the commercials start changing. So, they're marketing, they're targeting certain groups, age groups at certain times, because then you've got the pizza and you've got all the stuff coming on, and then there seems to be a gap. And then again, late at night, then the fast food commercials start again.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like,
yeah, well, every time KFC comes on, I want fried chicken. I mean, that's not,
Well, every time.
And I don't eat fried chicken regularly. I like Cotton in Manchester has an excellent fried chicken. They have an excellent fried chicken. And then other than that, in Florida, there's a Kentucky Fried Chicken across from a Sheraton hotel next to a water park. And because it's fresh, and because even the supermarkets in southern, like South Carolina, even the supermarkets have amazing
fried chicken.
I remember we were in South Carolina, and we had been buying stuff for the condo, and they were coming out with fresh fried chicken. I'm like, oh my God, this is fresh. We should just try it. And it was amazing. So the next day we were like, what time do you make this? And so the next day I'm coming, and it was like 8 minutes past the hour. And I'm like, are you making fried chicken? He goes, hold your horses. I'm making it. It takes as long as it takes. I'm like, no, I'm waiting patiently. I just want to make sure I didn't miss it. Because that was fantastic. So anywhere south of, South Carolina or south, I will even eat supermarket fried chicken.
Yes.
But up here, but every time I see a Kentucky Fried Chicken ad, I think, ooh, I want Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Yes.
But I don't want Kentucky Fried Chicken when I have Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Well, because it has a memory. Like, it has a
nostalgic.
Yes, a nostalgia piece to it that you're like, ooh, yes. And there's sometimes the other day I was so hungry, and I called Chris and I was like, hey, you want to go out for lunch? And he's like, I can't today. And I was like, my ideal fast food would be like a Five Guys burger and McDonald's French fries.
Yes.
And we used to do that. And I would do that for the kids because I know I'm picky. I didn't like McDonald's hamburgers because I didn't like those stupid onions on them.
I thought you were going to say you didn't like the soy in it.
Well, I don't like that either, but I don't like it. But, you grow up having it. And sometimes, so I remember as a kid, every once in a while, McDonald's would do their 5 cents hamburgers and 10 cents cheeseburgers, or it was like 10 or 15 cents for a cheeseburger. You're like, oh my God, can we go? Can we go? And I remember when it didn't work out, I was like, no, I didn't like McDonald's. So I was like, well, can we stop at Hardee's and get a hamburger or Burger King for me, and then get McDonald's? Like, you guys get McDonald's, I'll get the French fries. And it was always a no. We're not stopping at 2 places. So when I got my driver's license, my sister and I, we would go to Dairy Queen. We'd go to Dairy Queen. We go to Chick-fil-A. We go get all of our favorite foods. Talk about eating bad.
Yeah. And that wasn't unusual, and we didn't even know there was anything bad about it. We were our families, for the first time, were outsourcing food because what else are we going to do? We were also introduced to the microwave, which was convenience.
Yes.
And to this day, I hate the microwave. And the ultimate reason why I hate the microwave is every time I've ever microwaved anything, I have something that is so hot, a layer of the roof of my mouth peels off. And I bite into cold in the same, 2 bites later.
Yeah.
And how does that's never happened in the oven. Either everything is not quite hot enough or too hot in an oven. Nothing has ever scald the skin off the roof of my mouth and then literally be icicles on the next thing. And when I was younger, I would always do it for the appropriate time. I would spin it because I used to do everything via toaster oven. I used to eat a ton of frozen pizzas.
We have a toaster oven. We use
via
a toaster oven,
right? Then my mother took away my toaster oven, and because we only had one spot in the kitchen, and then a microwave went there. And she's like, well, just microwave it. I'm like, it's not the same. It doesn't get crunchy. It just gets soft. And I could never really manage the perfect homeostasis of cooked to this. And then when we bought our first house, we bought a real stove, like a real oven, very expensive. And we took out the microwave because we needed to put in a real hood vent or our cabinets would catch fire. Because it had that. It was a professional restaurant grade stove and oven. And literally they were like, you're going to melt your cabinets unless you buy this. That's like 400,000 BTUs of flame. You're going to melt your cabinets if you don't do this. So I got rid of it, and I was like, I'm never going to have a microwave again. And for the longest time, only in this house have we had a microwave.
Really?
And I've tried to use it, and I'm like, I am exactly where I was before. Because my aunt at the party, she brought, so spanakopita is my favorite food of all time. Even bad spanakopita is good spanakopita in my world. That's how much I love
any of that.
Because she made it for me and I hid it.
Oh.
Because she told me, this is for the house, like not them, you house. And I'm like, you made this for me to have all week long? She said, yeah. I go, thank you, because I'm not sharing it. So I brought it downstairs. I love it. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I have been eating spanakopita this week. I'm not joking either. I've had breakfast spanakopita.
Oh, my
goodness.
And,
you warm it up in the oven, it's 20, 25 minutes, or it's a minute in the microwave. And when I'm like, I don't have to make anything, I'm going to throw it in the microwave. And again, cold.
See, I don't like that. I don't like the microwave heating food up because it doesn't have the texture that I want.
Yes.
Nothing gets crispy or cheap,
Yeah.
It doesn't get the same consistency on it.
Not at all. And that's the seduction of, don't you want it to be quick? No, I want it to be good.
Yes.
I don't care if it's quick. I mean, there's an element of, I don't want this to take all day.
Right.
But convenience isn't the most important thing in my house.
Yes.
Maybe if I'm driving around and I don't have time to stop, the convenience of a drive-through, sure. Or convenience of something that way. Yes.
But on the whole,
I do not care about convenience almost to a fault when it comes to food.
Well, you want it the way that you want it, and you're willing to do, when you're willing to put the work and the effort and energy into it, then like I use the microwave to warm my coffee. Mm-hmm. Because I like creamer in it, and so the creamer cools it down, and I want hot coffee. But I've also got it down, so I know 35 seconds is the perfect temperature.
Yeah.
Trial and error. And then I will do, if I'm
in that particular microwave.
Yes.
Because every microwave has their own settings.
In that one.
Don't try it at home. Try your own experiment.
And I do bacon in the microwave.
Yeah.
If I'm going to do BLTs or something like that. But for the most part, our microwave doesn't get used. It's popcorn, warm coffee, and bacon.
This was a long time ago, a whole pound of bacon in the oven. That's really good bacon too.
It is good. And if I'm doing
it makes a mess.
If I'm doing it, and it's just time consuming, like just cooking it, and then you have to turn it over. You have to turn it over, and there's so much grease on the thing. But if I'm making breakfast or something for a lot of people, I'll do it in the oven because I could do it on 2 sheet pans, and then you just turn it.
And that's another thing I don't understand about the microwave. We can't eat at the same time. If I'm microwaving food, your food is out 3 minutes before my food. And then by the time there's no...
Like at a bad restaurant.
Oh, it's exactly at a bad restaurant. But I think we are seduced by these ideas. Convenience is one of them. Is convenience making us any healthier or any happier? No.
Yes.
Because we are the unhappiest we've ever been if you poll
But
people.
we're living in a world of instant gratification, and like that. That's what.
But that's not
processed
making
food-
us happy.
No, no.
So when are we going to learn that the concepts?
I want to be seduced. I like the idea of. I like anticipation, even though I don't like it. Like I don't. Hate surprises, but I also.
You're impossible to surprise person.
I know, right?
Well, it's hard as I think a lot of moms or people in charge of households that do the things. They make the schedule, they do the thing, they
Yeah.
organize the thing. It is almost impossible because you need there to be some mystery, and this person has no mystery. I have a schedule, I'm keeping things,
Right.
I'm coordinating. I don't know what you're talking about. What is this vague? So our family is going away on a family trip. There's like 18 of us going in July. I'm
That's
so
gonna be so
excited.
fun.
It's going to be so much fun. And we were trying to, as a thank you, come up with a family portrait that a professional photographer come and take a family picture of all of us while we're all together. And we're trying to tell the person the person who is throwing the vacation for us is planning everything. So we're saying, could you just give us some windows where there's nothing going on? Why? Well, we just want to do something. What do you want to do? I'll plan it. No, we don't need you to plan it. We've already planned it. Well, what is it? So, and we're like, and my sister-in-law finally I stopped communicating via text. I was like, I'm just not, never mind.
I'm out.
I'm out. Because I'm going to give away the secret in 10 seconds. And then I see my sister-in-law and she goes, I told my father we're taking family pictures. He made me. He just wouldn't let this be a surprise. And I was telling him, we're trying to make a surprise. And it's still, he wasn't having it. And I'm like, that's because he's planning it. The person who's planning,
Yes.
it's impossible
Yes.
surprise. But
Yes.
tell me about your,
Yes.
you want to be lured and seduced. And
I don't know. I think that I love that word. I love that word, seduction. I love that word because to me, it means there's pleasure involved in it. So whether you're going to sell me on something, like if you want to, if you want me to buy it, if you want me to say yes, you're going to have to seduce me. I want to play. I think that's because to me, I feel like that's playful energy. Not talking about marketing, because McDonald's doesn't do it when I'm like, yeah, I like it. I actually don't even really like McDonald's, but I was thinking that's the only fast food thing I think of is coming up. And I get that aspect of it, but for relationships, like I like the art of seduction. I like the art of communicating in a playful energy. Even with even our interactions with cashiers or checkout, like people out in the world, I feel like I try to have that playful energy.
are you trying to draw the real person out?
I actually don't even think about it. I think it's probably a little bit more selfish than that. It's like it's maybe how I want my day to be. Does that make sense? How I want my energy to be in, like who I want to be, how I want this thing to go. So maybe it's controlling the environment.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, and if you're doing the seducing, then you're not being seduced.
I am setting the temperature. So somebody, I read something and they said you're either a thermostat or a thermometer. So thermometer just reads the room. A thermostat is setting the temperature. And I'm like, well, I think I try to be a thermostat.
I think that depends on how much. Well, and it's really funny because I think of blame parents o'clock. I think of how you responded to something at 6, 7, and 8 is kind of how your default mode for how you respond to things.
God, I hope not, because I used to kick got told no. I was very stubborn.
You do know well now.
Well,
Question mark? Question mark? You like no?
no, I still don't like no.
I
But I
think
don't have a
you're the
temper
same.
tantrum. I don't lay on the floor and, kick my door.
You have
and
better technique now. You have
Yes.
much better technique. You're like, I'm just going to do it anyways because
Yes.
I'm an adult.
Yes. Well, my thing is like, you can tell me no all you want, but what I have noticed looking back in the past, I'll just go around you. And Chris is like, why are you saying that? Like, because I'm just being true. You know it. You know it, and I know it.
Right. So there's no point in lying.
I will find a way.
Right.
I will find a way. We'll figure it out. I don't believe in no.
Right. Which is interesting because you also raised your kids that way.
Yes.
You weren't a no heavy parent.
No. But I also because of it, I think I gave options.
Mm-hmm.
And I always, to me, like even our kids growing up, we had sleepovers during the week. Because if you could say that, if you guys do a good job going to bed at night, and it's really kind of started because one of their friends, their mom, had to be away or something, and anyway, coming over, and I'm like, if you guys could do a good job. And then we had some friends that lived right up the street, and she's like, their bus stop is like 4 minutes from ours, so it's not really a big difference. And I'm like, if they can do a good job, I can't
Find a reason.
I can't find a reason to say no.
Yeah.
You guys get good grades. You guys go to bed on time. You're not disruptive. Everybody gets up and has a great, has an easy morning. I don't see why you can't say no.
Mm-hmm.
We could never. It was always like, I always felt like you were just so restricted. I didn't think I had the language for that as a kid, but I also said, hey, do you want to go to the playground today or do you want to go ride bikes? Like either option, I'm going to be
Okay.
I'm setting it up.
Yeah.
Like,
so you're not doing the open-ended question, and I felt like parents do this a lot in a restaurant. Honey, what do you want to eat? I want hot dogs. They don't have hot dogs. What? And it's like, why would you give child choices when you know they don't have unlimited choices?
Right.
You give them two choices.
Right.
Do you want mac and cheese or do you want pizza?
right.
Do you want a hot dog or do you want a
Yes.
hamburger? There's I don't know what this open-ended. They have their whole life to be
Right.
have decision fatigue about what they're doing.
Right.
You were
But
listening.
I also think it's empowering.
Yes.
It's empowering your children to think for themselves and to make their own choices.
Yes. You were listening to Lisa and Robin on the mic on WSMN 1590 AM, 95.3 FM. You can watch, stream, and listen on WSMN Live. We're going to go to the top of the hour, and then we're going to come back, and we're going to give you 24 techniques to seduce or be seduced. Doing the seduction or being seduced.
Yes. Yes.
We'll be right back.
WSMN